You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Let's get into some of the bets and props from this game and give my official prediction as well. Listen, this game, the players to watch, it's exactly the same in my opinion. You look at Austin Simmons. He has to deal with the ankle and all of that. How is he going to bounce back even though that is going on? He is definitely a player to watch in this game. Then there's Kewan Lacy, the running back that, in my opinion, has a chance to be the best player on the field for Ole Miss and potentially for Arkansas, if we're going to be honest about it. And lastly is Princewill Umanmielen. And I thought about Suntarine Perkins for this position because, you know, we've been talking about Suntarine Perkins week after week after week, but this feels like a spy situation. Perkins is going to be spying Taylon Green more often than he's not. So that will be interesting. So who is forcing the action on Taylon Green? Who is playing the defensive line position that is trying to get back there? And I think it's going to be Princewill Umanmielen. I think Deshaun Womack has a chance to have a big role as well in this game. The important thing, like I said in the last segment, is not giving up explosive runs to the running back. Taylon Green can get loose a couple of times. Taylon Green can complete a couple of big passes. You cannot let Mike Washington beat you because Mike Washington, if he goes off, Mike Washington will beat you. Now, if you want to look at the keys that I put out earlier in the week, Arkansas is the best offensive team that Ole Miss has faced this season, so a quick start is important. Ole Miss has started slowly each of their first two games. The scoring margin is 7 points for Ole Miss, which they scored in the first 39 seconds of the season. After that, the other team has scored one touchdown, is 7-7. After that, Ole Miss's offense is really good, and the score margin, everything is really good. But Ole Miss needs to get off in a quick start in this game because, as we talked to John Neighbors yesterday, Bobby Petrino is pretty good at scripting. Again, keep the explosive down in the run game. Keep them to a minimum. Bobby Petrino needs those. You can stop the offense, but you need to stop the run so he doesn't do the play action because his stuff play action wise is freaking brilliant and he can tie you up in knots. And Ole Miss must play a clean game because every turnover and penalty can help Arkansas beat you. That's the keys that we did on Wednesday. And I honestly believe them if we're going to be real about it. I think Ole Miss has a really good shot to win this game. If Ole Miss just plays an A game and Arkansas plays an A game, Ole Miss is going to win the game. But the line has steadily gone down over the course of the week. I think Ole Miss opened as a 10.5 point favorite. The over-under was at 60.5, so it hasn't changed that much. But the betting line has gone down to just a shade over a touchdown. Now, it's still over a touchdown. Arkansas has to get beat by more than a touchdown in the game for Ole Miss to cover. So even though it's tightened up, it hasn't really tightened up in that situation. And a lot of that has to do with the uncertainty around Austin Simmons and what's going on and what Ole Miss is going to be able to do throwing the football and how the offense is going to look and all of that stuff. It's really interesting to me. You look at my prediction of this game, I do not think Ole Miss covers in this game. I think Ole Miss wins by 7 points. I think it's going to be 28-21, but this is the difference. I think it's going to be 28-14, and they're going to give up a touchdown late. It's going to be kind of like the end of the Kentucky game, but Ole Miss wins 28-21 in this game behind the running with multiple touchdowns of Kewan Lacy. He turns out to be the star of this game. And like Kentucky, where Ole Miss ran the ball 2 out of every 3 times in that game, I think something similar might happen in this game just because of the sprained ankle that Austin Simmons is dealing with. The other stuff like the hip and all of that, nobody that I've talked to has heard anything about that. It's all the telephone game and people talking about it. But Ole Miss should win this game 28-21. Now, some props in this game that I've mentioned. I think Kewan Lacy is going to score 2 touchdowns in this game, north of 100 yards, over 2 touchdowns. and you have a situation where the defensive line for Arkansas has struggled, that's going to force the safeties and the linebackers to run up to try and deal with the running back, and that's going to open up Harrison Wallace, Deshaun Stribble, and Caden Lee, those guys in the middle of the field. I think that Arkansas only scores 14 offensive points in this game. One of their touchdowns are an other than offensive touchdown. I think that's a weird way to look at it, but like they return a punt or something like that. This is a weird game, so we'll see exactly how it goes. But that is my prediction there, and I think that the obvious Taylon Green is going to have his worst game of the season. I think Ole Miss's Pete Golding's going to do a number on him. Pete knows that Bobby Petrino has gotten the best of him over the last couple of years. I am pretty sure they're going to scheme up some pretty good stuff as well. Remember, in the sack caused fumble that ended up in a defensive touchdown for Ole Miss last year in Fayetteville, it was Taylon Green at quarterback. So they can generate some pressure. That was TJ Dottery, by the way, that made that sack. So we'll see exactly how it goes. It's going to be a big game for Ole Miss. It really is. If you want to get to Georgia undefeated, this is probably the second biggest obstacle in your way. So we'll see exactly how that goes. Anyway, thank you for making Locked On Ole Miss your go-to source for Ole Miss sports. We pride ourselves in offering the most comprehensive perspectives, which is why we are the front door of Ole Miss. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. It helps the show and is completely free. Your support means the world to us. Hey, and another big moment for Locked On. College football fans, Locked On and Fire TV are presenting College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation along two-time AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson and former college star Jesse Holley and Locked On's local experts. The college football preview only Locked On can do. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. Be safe heading to Oxford if you're going to the game. Hotty toddy to everybody. Remember, analytics are just the old English word that means bad football. We'll see you later.